Hello, and you are all very welcome to our National Ploughing Championships pre-show broadcast here on site in Screggan, County Offaly. The excitement and anticipation has been building up on site all day, with some of the country's leading agricultural exhibitors setting out their stalls, the livestock rolling in, and the fields and plots are well and truly marked out in the ploughing fields. I'm joined here in Agriland's high-tech studio, and we're also joined by some of the sponsors of Agriland's 3-day live broadcast, including we have FBD, the HSA, the Irish Angus Producer Group and Lely. But first I want to go to Brian Mahon. Brian is taking part in the ploughing this year in the championships, and Brian, you're also the chairman of Offaly Ploughing Association. What does it mean, Brian, for this championships to come to Offaly again this year for the third year in a row?
It's a great honour for the county to host the championships for a third year in a row, and it's a huge undertaking for any county to take it on. There's a lot of work involved with our own local committee, with the marking out and all the setting out of all the plots. And basically then, I suppose, when you get for 2 year or 3 year, it means I suppose it's been done right anyway. That everyone's happy with it, and it worked very well. I suppose our biggest advantage is the traffic plan that works so well around here. I suppose we're lucky that we're situated in the middle of Ireland, and it just suits for traffic coming in, and that's, I suppose, a big bonus for any county getting it, is if the traffic plan works, and really that's what a lot of it comes down to. And we have a super exhibition site here, where all the trade areas, so that works very well for all the exhibitors. And then we have all different landowners give their lands around about for all the ploughing competitions. So with everyone joining the sort of forces, it makes it a great success overall, and it's a great honour for the county to have had it, and this is the third year in a row, so there's not too many. I think Laois was the other county to have done it 3 times, so we're up there. I suppose at this stage we have got our 3 year ahead now as well.
And Brian, what has it meant for membership in your own association? Has there been an increase in interest in the past few years?
Yeah, I suppose, and to the ploughing in general, that's probably one of the biggest obstacles we have, is trying to encourage new ploughmen, ploughwomen into the sport. And no doubt, when you have it in your own county, the national, and everyone sees what's going on, it's easier to get young people involved in it. There's a special match held each year at the nationals for beginners, for novice competitors, and each county runs their own competition to get which person qualifies for that. So with all them, I suppose, can see all what's going on the side, you know what I mean. It really helps to get a few help from or get youngsters to join in, to assist and to row in. Some of them help us out with the marking out, and that gets them involved, and then they come on and start competing then.
And Brian, for people who don't know, what exactly does the ploughing entail? What can people expect to see here over the next 3 days?
The ploughing itself, the event in the competitions really is, I suppose, there's so many different categories in it, and each person qualifies from their own county to come to the national, to compete in the national then again in their particular class. So overall, I think there could be over 25 different classes over the whole 3 days event, and everyone's competing in their own class, hoping to secure gold in their own particular class, and that's really what it's all about, and that's the aim everyone sets out when they come here tomorrow morning.
And you'll be competing yourself on Wednesday. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I'll be competing in the senior reversible class on Wednesday. There's serious competition in that class. We have the current John Whelan, who was second in the World Championships. He'll be competing. Liam O'Driscoll, who's winner of the European reversible, he's in it. Dan Donnelly was 4th in the European reversible. They're in it. So I have stiff competition, but we're there anyway, and we have some chance,
Brian, what's the difference between the conventional and reversible?
Conventional is just 2 furrows or 3 furrows, whichever the plough is, on one side, and they basically go up the plough one side and they come back down the other. Reversible, the plough turns over, and you have 2 furrows or 3 furrows, and you have the same on the top and bottom, and you can turn it over, you can come up and down in one after the other. So there's different aspects on the scoring sheet for each class, and that's really where the difference is on it.
And the ploughing is also deeply rooted in some families as well. It's often a tradition, a skill that's handed down through the generations.
Certainly, sure. I think 90% of the competitors, it's family. It all comes from their father or father before them, and it's handed down. I suppose it's not something you can just start off. You need someone to give you good guidance at the start to get you to take it up, to learn the pros and the cons, even to learn the rules. Like, there's a lot of technical things that I suppose to the ordinary bystander they wouldn't even realise what it is. Like, even the scoring sheet has 16 different aspects on it. To anyone looking in, they only just look at straightness or if it's uniform, like, you know. So there's so many different aspects that the regular bystander wouldn't realise is there. Like, so that's a big thing in it. But definitely it comes from family and being showed and being taught it. Like, it's like any sport or any trade, you're taught it and you're trained it, and you'll have good days and bad days, and that's the way it goes. Like,
yeah, and it's also highly competitive. And we're also joined by PJ Lynam. PJ, you're a former chairman of the National Ploughing Association, and a very well-renowned judge as well. What will the judges be looking out for here over the next few days?
Well, as Brian said, there are 16 different aspects to the ploughing, and I suppose you have to go back to the history of ploughing to get to the basics of what they are looking for. The reason we plough is we turn over the soil to bring up new soil for have a crop in it next year, and we try to bury the dirt and the chaff from last year's crop, and when it gets no heat or light, as you know, it won't grow next year. So it's a form of weed control. So that's what we do when we're ploughing. We try to turn over the soil the best way we can to put down the stubble, put down the dirt, and put a nice bit of fresh soil on top of it so that we can come along afterwards and sow the new crop in it for next year.
And PJ, what about the age demographic, the profile of the plough men and plough women that we can expect over the next few days? What's the age demographic?
Well, in the novice class, I suppose, like, you have to be over 16 because you have to hold a driver's license before you can compete. So we'd have them from 16, and I wouldn't like to put an upper age limit on it. I'd say there's people out there, particularly there'll be people ploughing with horses, and they'll be 80 years of age, you know. So, and everyone in between that, like, you know.
Very good, and we have to say goodbye to Brian there. He's off for some practicing himself before the big competition on Wednesday, and we wish him the best of luck. So at the moment, PJ, you've Eamon Tracy and John Whelan, who are the real stalwarts of the ploughing fields. Is there a big gap between the classes at the moment?
Well, as Brian already said, like, I mean, there's a European champion competing against him and somebody that was fourth in it, and they're all competing against John Whelan as well. So, and there are a number of competitors up there that be very close to the top. Eamon has also competitors that will be against him. Like, there's very strong competitions from Cork and Kilkenny and Wexford as well. So, like, they have to qualify from here to go on to plough in the world next year, and like, it's a big job to qualify. And then we've been lucky, I suppose, and we have two great competitors. They are two great kids in John and Eamon, and they've been very lucky and got on very well in the world for the last 3 or 4 years. So they are dominant. We are dominant force at the moment, you know. And as well as that, Northern Ireland, Thomas Cochrane, like, he was second as well last year, and he was first this year in the reversible. So Ireland, North and South, like, we're more than holding our own on the foreign soil.
I suppose it's a bar for everybody to work towards as well. And you also, there was a launch of a new novice class in the last few years as well. How has that progressed?
We started the novice class 3 years ago. The first year we had 6 competitors in it. This year we have 21 competitors in it. And what we do there was we divide them up according to their ability. We have junior, intermediate and senior. So to give the people that starting off, like, we put them in the junior, and it gives them a chance to go on and compete and not be demolished the first day to go out, like, you know. So they'll get a good chance there, and then if they win that, then they move on to the under-21 class or the under-28 or whatever. So it's a kind of a starting ground, you know. But the competition, like, is quite high in it, because the way we work the novices, each novice gets a coach with them. So they coach them along to come to the All-Ireland, and then the day of the All-Ireland, they can help them along. They can't be in on the ploughing prop, but they can help them from the headland. So they encourage them along and kind of tell them what to do, and as Brian says, they give them the tricks of the trade. So it's working well. As I said, we have 21 this year, you know, and hopefully next year we'll have 24, 25.
And PJ, what about the weather? Could that impact on it now at all over the next few days? It's been quite blustery here on site, as you can tell at the moment. And you know, there's some mixed rain and all sorts, some talk of storms over the next few days. Can that have an impact?
Well, like, as you know from last year's experience, we can cope with water no problem. And since last year we put in a lot of drainage right up and down and across the field. We've a pumping stations in place already. before the rain ever comes. So we're ready to move whatever water that comes. That is not a problem. The only problem we'll have with the wind, as you know, is from a health and safety point of view. So if the wind were to get strong or a storm come in, health and safety would move in and possibly might have to close it off for a time or whatever. But I don't think that's good. I mean, this has been going on. We've been on site now for a long time, and for the last 2 weeks, everybody's talking about this storm and that storm and the other storm. You know, there's wind out there, there's rain out there. We'll get a small amount of it, but it doesn't look as if we're going to get an awful amount altogether. I think we could escape, you know.
And based on last year's numbers that attended, you know, they're not likely to be deterred by the rain anyways.
Look, people are coming to the All-Irelands for years, and the bit of water or the bit of rain never has affected us before now, you know. And I think we proved to a lot of people last year, like how good we are at running this thing by the amount of water we got off-site. We poured 1.2 million gallons of water off-site on the Wednesday night last year. So we can cope with that, and people know that. And we have a lot of trackway down. Now, we got extra trackway in this year as well, because there was some available in the Phoenix Park after the visit of the Pope, and we took in that as well. So we have an extra 1,000 panels in came in the other day. So we have a lot of roadway down. We have an awful lot of roadway down this year. So we're well set for the rain. That is not a problem. As I said, the wind will be the only issue from a health and safety. But other than that, we will get the crowds. There's no doubt about that, because this year the harvest has been early, like with the fine weather. So it's finished up, and people, it's a kind of an annual thing that people set aside now, and this is our holidays, and they'll keep this week. And you know yourself, if you have a week set aside for your holidays, you'll go no matter what it's like, and they'll come here. They like coming to Screggan. Like, I mean, it's, as Brian said, it's very easy to get in and out of it. Nobody has any problem. You're an hour and a half from here and you're home nearly, no matter how far you live, you know. So it's an ideal location, and people will travel and they will come. So I'd be expecting as many as last year, maybe even a few more.
And big crowds will also be expected in the FBD and in the HSA tent now as well over the next few days. Carolyn O'Hara from FBD, what can people expect to see in the FBD tent over the next few days?
Well, we have a huge amount going on this year. On the Tuesday we have celebrity chef Catherine Fulvio, and then on the Wednesday we're delighted to have the O'Donovan brothers on health and well-being, and again they recently won gold, so it's great for us to have them on the Wednesday. On the Thursday then we have Hugh Wallace from Home of the Year, and he's going to be having a chat with everyone. And then over the 3 days we've our own specialist Kieran Roach, who looks after health and safety, and he's going to be giving talks on farm safety over the 3 days, which is very important to us in FBD. Then very exciting for us this year, we have virtual reality. So we have, for all the youngsters and the adults coming in who'll be queuing up as well. So it's walk the plank, so it's very exciting. You put on the headgear and out you go. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great addition this year. And then we also have a little kiddies area, which worked very well for us last year for the younger kids when they come in. And in addition this year as well, we have in the 3 food areas, we have additional tents. And on site every day we'll have cookery demonstrations going on throughout the day, which is, so every year we're getting bigger and better.
That's, yes, you have huge variety.
Huge amount. And then in the tent as well, we have a photo booth for everyone to come in and take selfies. So we're trying to move with the times and keep everyone happy. Yeah.
And
so there's an awful lot going on.
How important is it to have that strong presence at the ploughing, Carolyn?
It's very important to us, because the amount of people that come into us every year just to say hello. So we bring in branch managers and sales execs from all over the country to meet their customers. So like, we're full on all day, every day. But when they come into us, we want them to enjoy the experience. We want them to come in and add as much value to their visit to the ploughing as possible. So we put an awful lot into it. Every year we're trying to get bigger and better, that our customer experience, to give them a good day out. Yeah.
And where is your stand
We're
located?
just across from the NPA. We have a great location on row 11. Yeah. Yeah.
And great. And we're also joined by Pat Griffin. Pat, the HSA tent, the Health Safety Authority tent, I'd imagine is going to be very busy over the next few days. It's very important presence here at the Ploughing Championships. You've lots of demonstrations lined up. Can you tell us a little bit about what people can expect?
Yeah, it has grown over the years and evolved into what it is now. I've just come from there and we're just putting the final touches. We're nearly there. It looks very good. We've got 2 major areas, an inside marquee for information basically, and then an outside demo area. We've actually made the demo area bigger this year, and what we'll be demoing there is tractor safety, PTO guarding, quad bike safety. Then we have a teleporter with a front end loader on it to show people how to move bales, which has caused many accidents unfortunately. And then we've got height for hire, showing people how easy it is to do work at a height in a safe manner. So all that will be demonstrated out on the ground. And for years now, that has drawn great crowds. And I think I've seen parents bring small children and say, push them forward, have a look at this to make sure that they understand the risks around tractors and machinery particularly. So we're excited about the week. It's going to be a good week. A lot of talk about wind and rain. We haven't got any rain here yet, thank God. And I think from the forecast, the winds are going to stay to the south. During the week we have, tomorrow our Minister will actually officially launch our stand at 11 o'clock, Minister Pat Breen, and we hope people will come along and encourage people to attend and learn more about farm safety out on the ground, demonstrating what they can do to keep themselves safe on the farm. And we hope that they'll bring messages back to their farm and learn about it. In the marquee itself then, we have really a focus on 3 issues. One is getting people to use the revised code of practice on safety. And if they start using this, and I think if they follow the instructions in it, we can actually stop a lot of the injuries and deaths happening on Irish farms. The 2 major things we're concentrating on in the marquee will be tractor safety and livestock safety. And we know from Teagasc, a group that we work with, that accidents from tractors and machinery are going up. So we're trying to focus on these things that are injuring people out there. So the health and safety stand is the Health and Safety Authority's approach to farm safety at the ploughing, but it's supported by the Farm Safety Partnership and many of the organisations that we work with there, like FBD and Teagasc and FRS and more. And I've also been involved with Embrace Farm, and this is Brian and Norma Rohan, who have started up this charity, Embrace Farm, and their tractor has been going around the country for the last month or so, unfortunately gathering boots of people that have passed away on farms. And out in our stand there is a panel that shows that 210 people have died in the last 10 years, and underneath that panel we have some of those boots. So Minister Creed is going to come and launch the annual report of Embrace Farm at our stand. So it is a serious subject. We can't be frivolous about it. It's a serious matter. We need farmers and farm families to come to our stand, learn a bit, and take away some messages that they can use at home.
And just the opportunity, I suppose, of being at the Ploughing Championships, where you have access to hundreds of thousands of people from rural areas, from farms, to really get that message across. It's very important for you to be here, to be part of that.
It's a huge opportunity to be in amongst the farming community. We scratch our heads sometimes and wonder, why do we go to the ploughing? But the reason we come here is because of the numbers that come here. We need to get and engage with these people. We need them to understand that farm safety is accessible. They can do it if they try and put a bit of effort into it. We want to make it as easy as possible. We're here and we're here to help, and we'll have lots of information during the week.
So those demonstrations will be going on over the 3 days?
On the hour, and we've got experts actually talking about farm safety, about quad bike use, tractor use, PTOs, working at height. It's all going to be there. So I'd really encourage people to come and learn and bring home some messages that they can go home to their farms and maybe change a little thing that might make a difference in the future.
Very worthwhile for everybody to attend some of those demos over the next few days, and also to pop into the FBD tent, and to our other sponsors as well, the Irish Angus Producers Group and Lely, who have some exciting announcements down at their stand. A big thanks to everybody for joining us here. I know everybody's very busy trying to get things underway. We're just about less than 24 hours out. Hopefully the rain will stay off, and we hope that you can all join us in the Agriland tent tomorrow. We're located at row 14, stand 300. We'll be broadcasting live over the 3 days, so for those of you that can't make the ploughing, be sure to log on to all of our platforms to find out all the latest. We'll leave it there, and we're looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow live here in Screggan.